Hello everyone and welcome to the YouTube Mall Builders Thursday Night General Hangout. Thursday's Hangouts are for the general discussion of mall railroading that we all can set a topic to discuss for the night. My name is Johnny Reb from Southeast Rails. Thursday's Hangouts are the proud sponsor of the YouTube Mall Builders, EMAG, and the YouTube Mall Builders live show and the YouTube Mall Builders Tuesday night presentations. I want to say thanks to everybody for joining in tonight's show. Tonight on the panel we got Mr. Phil, Mr. Mark, Jim, Mr. Hawks, Miss Sherry, and Mr. Andy. Also, we just had the EMAG come out. It's a pretty big issue, about 52 pages. Most of it, I think, is on signaling. And we've had one of our regulars kind of drop out for a little while. He's having to make a move to go help his dad out. His dad's getting on up there in age, so that's Dave, D&S Railroad. So hopefully he'll be joining us in a few months after he gets settled down and gets back in the swing of things again. So, see, looks like Jim's been doing some work on his layout. You still there, Jim?
Yes.
And hello, Jason. He's in the Q&A. You got that bridge figured out on your elevation there?
Yeah.
It looks like you got cork going up one side there now.
Yep. That's it, basically.
Yeah. I know Phil's been painting his backdrop.
Yeah, I got my corner finally taken care of and got the hardboard primed, painted it blue last night, went today and got some acrylic paints and a variety of brushes, and that'll probably be my weekend project, is start to paint some scenery in the background.
Yeah. What'd you do to resolve your corner? I know you were asking about that, how to round it.
Yeah, I ended up taking a large for sale sign that was probably 10 to 20 thousandths of styrene, and I put it in the corner the way that I wanted it, the nice, gradual bend, and I stuck some of that expandable foam behind it, just taped it up there and ripped that sign off of it, and it didn't turn out the way that I wanted to. I was kind of bummed about that. So what I ended up doing was going and buying a couple more of those signs and putting it up there, and then what do they call it? Contact cement. Contact cemented it to the hardboard. Used the foam that was all messed up in there as like a backing.
Yeah.
And then went and took lightweight spackling and feathered that out. But when I went to sand that, it chunked. The sandpaper actually tore it out. And so I smoothed it out the best that I could, and then I used the flexible paste from Woodland Scenics to put over top of it. And it took me, 4 or 5 coats to get it feathered out well enough. And like I said, then sealed it, and that turned out all right. I'm happy with it.
No, it's good that worked out.
Yeah.
A little more work than what you were looking for, but
right. It wouldn't have been as much work if I would have known what I was doing right from the get-go. But,
yeah.
A little experimentation there on the first one. first go around, and just went from that then and came up with something that that'll work. If I don't know if I was to do it again. I don't think I'd even have put any of that foam behind it. I just would have put the for sale signs up and contact cemented them and feathered it out and maybe just stuff some paper behind it to keep it from easily caving in, you know, that there's something behind it because it's pretty flexible stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you didn't get a chance to go look at any of the home centers about maybe a cove molding or anything to fit in there?
I
or
did
that was
look.
just too small?
No, I did look. There was some larger stuff. I don't think it would have gave me the curvature that I wanted.
Okay.
And it has a lip on it, a thick lip, like an 1/8 inch. It didn't go right out smooth. So at least that's what neither one of our Lowe's or Home Depot, that's what we have in my town. Neither one of them had what I was looking for. So with this, I have, like I said, dude, I wish I had a camera that would fit down in there, but to show it live. But
well, we'll get you going one of these days.
yeah, one of these days I'll come up with something.
Yeah.
It'll be in my update number 4, which I'm looking to do here pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, talking about updates, Miss Sherry over here put up an update the other day on her mountain.
Yeah.
That was your cue, Sherry. I think she stepped
Yeah,
up.
I'm not a good videographer, and I have the same problem. I don't really have a camera set in appropriate places. So I did a lot of time lapse because I'm like, you really don't need to stand here and watch me put plaster on for half an hour. I did learn, like Jim was saying, I guess depending on how you mix the plaster, you get anywhere from a short setup time to mine was pretty long. Mine I could go about 20 minutes before that plaster got hard because I had it thin. But when it dried rock hard. And then today, because I have to keep molding so many rocks, because thank you, Jim, loaned me his rock molds, I mixed it thicker, and holy cow, that stuff set up in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
So you definitely got to plan ahead for that. And the tint that Ron Kleiss had mentioned, I picked up the Quikrete tint, and I love that because even if the plaster mold breaks, it's spray all the way through, so I can piece it all together and not have to worry about I've got a white edge showing.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is going to save time.
Yeah.
Now, how I'm going to put the rocks on, I haven't figured out yet.
Yeah. You could use hot glue. You go back, mix up some more plaster. Just make sure that you...
to make it look realistic instead of, you know, put a rock here and put a rock there and hope it looks right. I haven't quite...
Well, you'll have to mix up some more plaster and just help fill in those voids there.
Yeah, I figured that, or I do have some Sculptamold, and I also have some of the Celluclay stuff. So
yeah, or you can make up some of that ground goop, like several of us have been using, 10-inch ground.
A little.
So, that works good too. I want to say hey to Dwight. He's in the Q&A, and Curtis. Good to see you here tonight. Anybody in the Q&A, if you got any questions or comments, post them up. And Andy's been wondering if I'm going to ever ask him or not, but I was. What you doing, Andy?
I got a whole list of things to do now. Since my surgery last week, which I'm getting a lot better from, today's a really good day. I had a blast of amnesic eBay purchasing, but I don't remember exactly what all I bought, so the last week has been a blast. like Christmas, of things coming in that I don't remember exactly what I ordered. But so I got I'm working on, since Dwight's in the Q&A, he'll get to appreciate. I'm starting on my first laser caboose kit, which is a real good time. We've been talking tonight before about these Craftsman pine trees that use an asparagus fern, is what we've determined they are, needle material in their manufacture, which I don't care about the kit. I just bought it so I can find out these materials. This is some really interesting stuff, and I'm going to make some really good-looking pine trees. Really, really good-looking ones. I'm really pleased with this material. I've got a really big microengineering order I need to place, but apparently I thought I needed this one. I do need this one because I've got a bridge right now that's right at the end of what I modeled to do. Get started on, and I bought a whole host of detail parts and some vehicles and stuff, because I've got a section of scenery now that's semi-complete front to back that now I can take some photos of. So I got mailboxes, I got some gas pumps for my little gas station diorama I've been working on. I'm finishing up my tower. I've got the Armstrong levers inside it, and I got a potbelly stove that I completed and assembled and painted with a piece of 14 gauge ground wire for the pipe. I got a whole host of stuff now, and now I'm starting to feel a little better. I've got a lot to do and plenty of stuff to work with. So
Yeah, find a roll top desk yet?
I have found them in white metal, but I really want a laser wood kit.
Yeah, that's really gonna be hard. Really hard to build that small.
I know. I found some chairs. I'm going to get them. I found me some decent laser etched wood HO scale chairs.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I need to make a couple 5-gallon buckets. I'm trying to find a small enough straw that I can cut, some small pieces of straw. I've been trying that from a few angles. I've actually cut some wire insulation as an experiment.
Well, I got websites you can go to and take a look there
All right.
for detailed parts, buckets, brooms, and stuff.
Yep. I've been working, trying to make a 5-gallon bucket. So
Yeah.
I got a couple buckets of coal. But, all right. Yeah, lay it
Oh,
on.
cat's paw.
Haven't seen that one.
Yeah, they're down here.
That's
So-
cool.
Yeah, a group of a couple of girls.
What kind of website are you sending me to, Johnny?
It's 3D printing. Yeah, Dwight said in scale hard enough. Laser desk, punishment.
I'm not scared of too much when it comes to. I do need to get me a whatever, the little bifocal
Oh,
optimizer.
yeah,
An optimizer.
magnifier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
What's
Andrew
the,
popped in, but he disappeared.
What's the name of that place that does the 3D printing for everybody?
If you hadn't asked, I could have told you.
No.
I know Miles has mentioned it a few times.
Well, Andy knows it too.
I was on there one night and I could have sworn that I've seen a roll top desk and like not a styrene casting, but what's that other acrylic castings?
Oh, I'm sure they probably do. And actually, I wouldn't mind having it. I just really don't want white metal. It's just not the detail's not great. For a potbelly stove or something, yes, it works. But for a roll top desk, it needs to be plastic or wood.
Yeah.
Mr. Hawks, your microphone working? Or I guess not. Shapeway.
Shapeway. Oh my God.
That's what Jason Volk just put up. Shapeway.
Yeah.
And Curtis.
I went and Googled it as well, and I got it.
Yeah. Well, looks like Mr. Hawks is still working on his cement plant. It's like some walkways, conveyor, right there.
Yeah,
On
man.
his desk.
Nice looking kid, actually. I'd like to know who made that one. I'll tell you somebody. Oh, Glacier Sand. Oh, yeah. Okay. Walter's kids. I'll tell you somebody I wouldn't appreciate for making a good kit is Bachman, who I'm not a fan of most of their products. Bachman has a line of assembled sand towers and some of those, and they are brass. They are metal, and the detail is immaculate on them. They are one of the most underappreciated, under-advertised line of building products out there made by Bachman, and Trainmasters Hobbies down there has a couple of them. And if you're modeling a modern layout, I would absolutely have a few of them on my layout. They're metal building kits, and they're all the quality of a brass kit for $20.
Yeah, Dwight put a comment. Jim's magnifier is a good one too. As far as use of magnifiers.
Oh, I need to buy one. I just keep, I don't know. I just got to decide which one to buy. They're not cheap necessarily for what they are. So.
No.
Harbor Freight, $35 or $39.
Right. So I just really want to make sure I get
That's cheap.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily expensive. I just want to make sure I spend the money wisely and get a good one. But you're happy with the one you got, obviously. Oh, man. Oh, that's awesome. That's easy as it can be.
Harbor Freight for those, too. $5 or $6 a piece.
Well, shoot, that'd be a lot easier than that big old visor. I mean, I've looked at some of the visors. Some of them have lights. Some I don't think I need that. I wear glasses, obviously, so that would be perfect, really.
Yeah, Dwight said he's been pricing them, in a good 8X with LED is at least $60 and $90.
Yep, I've seen that too, but I would rather spend $60 and be happy than spend $45 and regret something about it, you know?
One thing I can tell you, guys, because I do use a lot of magnification, the higher the power you go, the smaller the actual area is of that power. Meaning, if you buy one of those lights like what Jim has and I have, it may be a 6-inch magnification, but only about 2 inches of the center is the magnification.
So,
So if you get an 8 power, you're down to even smaller yet.
Okay, so I don't think I need an 8X then. That's probably the wrong thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, a visor that I bought, I think it's only a 3X.
Yeah.
But I bought it at one of the train shows, and the guy had each one laid out and had like a newspaper or magazine there. and you have a big sign that says try it on and use it before you buy it. Make sure it's going to give you the right magnification.
Right. Yeah.
So I
See,
tried.
I'm legally blind, and the most power that I use is a 4x.
Okay, I definitely don't want
But,
it.
but there are times I wish I had a little bit larger. But for
Well,
the
look at
most
one that had
part,
interchangeable
4x is really good.
And I looked at one that had interchangeable lenses that did 2x, 3x, 4x. And now that I'm thinking about that, that makes a lot of sense for what I would probably need.
Yeah, Dwight agrees with you, Phil, on that.
Yeah. I have on my baseball cap, on the visor of it, it's called a flip focal or something like that. And I got it at an Orvis fly fishing shop. And the fishermen use it for tying flies and putting the fishing line through the eye of, a hook. And that's kind of handy to have like on a baseball hat, because I never used to wear hats, but since I'm getting a lot thinner on top, the sun burns the top of your head, so I wear a baseball hat just about all the time now when I go out of the house, so I have that on that.
Well, that's more comfortable to wear even inside than, say, like an optimizer, I assume, is not a real comfortable thing to wear for a while.
Yeah, it's not powerful enough to use, at least for me it's not, but that again, it has a right eye and a left eye in this piece that's about, that wide, so it's split down the center, and it's, a lot thicker in the center, and that's what happens with that because of the focal point.
Well, my vision, I mean, I have glasses, but with my glasses on, my vision is pretty doggone exceptional. I just, when I'm modeling, I just can't see these small parts that I'm working with.
You're good, Hawks.
Finally.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, Dwight is buy the ones with a small 8x and surrounding glass at 3x.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what he means. They make ones that are like 3x, and then off to the side there's a little spot that's about the size of a dime, or maybe a nickel, probably the size of a nickel, that is like 8x power.
So it's like bifocal, you can glance off to one side or to one area.
Right, yeah. Yep.
Okay, that might make some sense then.
Yeah, I got one of those floor magnifiers, has a circle light in it, and it's got the little spot, heavy magnification spot off to the side.
Yeah, that's what he's...
But it's just a very small spot, though.
Right.
I thought about buying one of those too, like Jimmy has and Philip has to work with. It would just really confine me to working right where that is,
Well, you can get the one like I got. Mine's floor model. It's a gooseneck. And because of the height of my workbench, I had to build a wood box that was a foot tall to raise it up. But at least that way I can move it around.
Yeah, I like some flexibility to move it around. Like after I had the surgery last week and was kind of a little bit bound in bed for a few days, I put me a big old cardboard box, big flat cardboard box, and built some trees laying in bed. So a man can do that, and that kind of flexibility is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Hawks, what you got going tonight?
Well, I'm trying to finish my glacier sand. I've been working on it for a week now, on and off. And I've been doing some soldering for my feeders. Oh, what else? I guess that's about it. Just the feeders are taking so long to do.
Oh, yeah.
Well, my burning question. I know you saw the email. Hopefully
Yes, I did.
hopefully that's some help for you.
Yes, it is. I got to do a lot more reading, but I think the first question, which hasn't been answered, and maybe one of you can answer this. Okay, my layout is about 40 by 20,
Good size.
and probably 95% of the time, I'm the one that's going to be operating it.
Yep.
So, is it worth putting all those lights, those signal lights, if I'm the only one running it? Because I'll know if I've got another train running.
True, but I think so, number one. And something that I kind of mentioned in my article, which my article was not meant to be detailed at all. My article wasn't supposed to go very deep. But something I mentioned in it is that pretty much all of the major software out there for controlling this stuff, and specifically JMRI, which I'm such a fan of, allows for you to have CTC operations with dispatcher. But they also allow you to kind of flip a switch and let that run in ABS mode, or automatic block signal mode, and that would allow you and me. I'm going to be running my layout by myself the vast majority of the time, to run the layout entirely by myself without a dispatcher, but still get the value of signals switching and changing. Also, something else I mentioned in my article is maybe a person doesn't want to go for the full operational value of a signal system, but instead simplify it by going for the scenic value of a signal system that approximates operation. That's a lot easier and cheaper. I do want the full operational value on mine, but I think you can get the enjoyment out of it and still being a solo operator.
Okay, I think you've answered that question pretty good. But with GMRI, I'm starting to read into it, and even though it seems so complicated, one thing I wanted to know is, once you've got this on your computer, like I've got a laptop, I could, like, do I have to sit at my laptop and control the turnouts, or like
No,
you said, I probably could do it with switches on my fascia, right?
absolutely you can, and JMRI will add some intelligence behind the scenes. So you can set up JMRI to do everything and have switches or an iPod or a tablet or an iPad, whatever. And you may never look at that computer running JMRI ever again. You may never need to. But JMRI still can add intelligence. So when you throw turnouts, there's signal indications that change to correlate with that. Or you do things like put block detection in, and when a train hits a certain block, it throws the turnouts to make sure that you don't run through a turnout thrown against you. You know, there's a lot of intelligence that can be added, and you don't have to look at JMRI to get the value of that.
Okay, and side question here. I've got the NCE Pro 5,
Yeah, man, nice system. I love NCE.
and okay, what was it going? I'm trying to remember what my question was going to be. I've got so many questions, and the thing is, most of the time I'm going way ahead of where I'm at right now.
Need to, though. You need to plan ahead. Another thing I mentioned in my article is it's going to make your life so much easier if you plan ahead early in the development of your layout to allow for signaling. Even if you don't install it right away, just a plan for it would make your life a lot easier.
Well, I'm really looking at a system, but it was, where do I start? I'm just trying to think of that question again. Okay, go ahead.
Well, you've been following the basic shows that Dave and all them were doing, didn't you?
I, which, the November one, I think.
No, they did a series of basics on
Oh,
how
for the
JMRI.
GMRI.
And we haven't done a lot with signaling yet with JMRI, but this year we're really going to dive deep. And signaling and operations are the two areas that we are going to spend our time.
Mhm. No, I did watch. I think I watched the first two, and I totally got lost. To be honest, it was like, especially when you don't know what you're listening to. So I really got lost. So I did download the program, and I got a tendency to jump in without even reading anything. So it wasn't easy. But yeah, I just have to sit down, read, and basically ask what questions,
Well,
starting with the beginning.
and come hop in here on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and there's live hangouts all the time, and several of us are JMRI fanboys at least. I wouldn't call myself a guru or an expert by no means. I'm just a fanboy, and there's a lot of things I don't know about it, but I have learned a lot of the basics. With where you are on your layout, your biggest focus to get started with JMRI is one thing. Getting it hooked to your layout, getting it to where you can use Decoder Pro to control or to program locomotives, that's going to be your initial thing. With signaling, your biggest focus is going to have to be getting signals on the layout and then getting occupancy detection built into the blocks, long before you worry about the logic of when the signals switch and why.
Okay. Since I first asked the question, and now I've got a little bit more knowledge on, first of all, how the signals work. That I think I've got it pretty good now.
Awesome.
I still don't know the reasons of where to install it. I know it's at the beginning of a turnout, but anyway, that part I'm not too sure yet.
Well, and prototype photos are kind of the best thing for trying to figure out where signals go. I mean, also there's some disparity or some difference depending on what era you're modeling, and again, something I mentioned in my article, era and what prototype you're modeling, even if you're modeling entirely freelance. If you're trying to model a Class 1 Midwestern main line in 1950, or you're trying to model a branch line in 1994, that's going to dictate a lot about how your signals are done. And branch lines will not have intermediate signals and permissive signals. It will only have the primary signals that are just before a turnout on either side, etc.
Well, I did my research on that. Like I'm doing Canadian Pacific, and the era is between mid-60s to mid-70s. And when I did a search, I found all this. They're all searchlights, so I was able to.
I really like searchlights.
They're all searchlights, yeah, and I know there's some dwarfs that you install in the what do you call it? The
Industrial or switching areas would use dwarfs.
Yeah.
Sometimes yards, but out on the main line with searchlights.
No, it's in the yards. Sorry.
Huh?
Yeah, they're mainly seen in the yards here up north.
Yeah, out on the main line, you'll have all pedestal switches, especially on the CP or the CN. I'm sorry, and I really like both of the Canadian railroads a whole lot actually. They do some fairly interesting things, but searchlights are a lot of fun. I think if I was going to do searchlights, there's a few ways to do it. Multicolor LEDs are the most common and most popular, although I think if I was doing searchlights, I would probably try to do it with fiber optics.
All right, well, let me catch up on the Q&A here real quick while you're contemplating that thought, Andy. Chris, has got a comment to you, Hogs, on earlier statement. Yes, because it's your layout and you want it the way you want it, and you never know, once you're up and running, others will want to come over and run with you.
I think that's the hope for all of us. That
Yeah. Also, I just like to add, you might want, everybody's gonna want pictures or videos so they can see what you're doing and see your layout. So, you just gotta want to have the lights there to help give it more detail.
and to kind of bring out something I called railroadiness or something, but
Yeah.
which is not a very good way to describe it. I just couldn't think of another way. And me and JD went round and round over it, and he was wanting to say, well, prototypicalness or to bring out the prototype.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a flavor.
Yeah, you just try to
Mhm.
make it look more like a real railroad. Dwight.
Railroad character. It adds character.
Character, flavor, and personality.
Yeah. Dwight's got a comment. Andy, I can't decide if I should go with Sprague or buy the computer interface to my DCC power.
If you've already got a DCC system like Digitrax or NCE, buy the interface.
Yeah.
Now, I bought a Sprague, and actually, I'll tell you what, if you have a DCC system with an interface and JMRI, there's still some value in the Sprague just as a programmer. That's what it was originally intended for, and when I bought mine, I thought I was just going to use it as a programmer. I just ended up finding that I liked it so good, and I liked using an iPod as a throttle better than a throttle. So, and there's still a chance, I may wake up one day and go buy an NCE system. I really like NCE, but so far the Sprague has been everything I wanted.
Oh, I just remembered what the question was. You said that with JMRI, okay, probably got this wrong, but can you program all your locomotives directly from JMRI?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's one of its strongest suits, and I've said to several people who don't have a lot of interest in controlling their layout or trades with the computer, if you knew nothing but use Decoder Pro to program locomotives, it is an invaluable tool for that, and you are totally getting your money's worth out of JMRI, especially since it's free.
Okay.
It's
Hogs, really what you want to do is check the Hangouts, and when you have questions like that, see if Andy's in here. Chris Healy, he does NCE system and JMRI.
And he is incredibly knowledgeable.
Yeah, and Barry Rozier that does the tech show.
He's a downright expert.
Who?
Barry?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And Dwight said that he's only using JMRI for programming, but still he probably won't just go with an interface.
Well, since he already has a system, yes. But I'll tell you, Sprague, just as a programmer, is really, really, really handy.
Yeah, because there are some decoders out there that require a lot more power than what NCE or Digitrax put into the programming track.
Absolutely.
So, if you come across a decoder it's not programming, more than likely it's because you don't have enough power on the track. Now, I've heard somebody say you could take a wall wart that puts out, say, like 16 or no more than 18 volts and hook that to the track, but you need to put a 1K ohm resistor between the two rails.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And that would add the power you need to do the programming. All right, Dwight's here got $50 for interface module, $90 for the Sprague. You can find that Sprague cheaper than that.
But I have a Sprague 3, and it's like $120 or something for a Sprague 3.
Yeah, that's because it's 3 amps and the others were 2 amp,
Right. Yep, yep.
which it makes sense. Just go ahead and go with the Sprog 3 now. Just,
Get as much power as you can. I mean, locomotives these days, they're not using less power. More and more and more.
oh, Jim dropped out.
Doggone it, Jim.
Yeah, let me switch over here real quick and find out. He's got the grandkids, so he probably had to go do something with them.
Well, that's a pretty good excuse, but I'm still not really ready to let him run it off entirely.
I don't know what's happened, but this makes the 3rd week we hadn't had the professor here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Hoping we didn't scare him off.
Nah, he seems like the type, kind of like me, he's a little bit of a loudmouth. He probably don't scare easily.
Yeah.
He always does them really good.
Andrew said with their Easter over there, they're having stuff going on over there too right now, I guess. Because I forget they're ahead of us that far.
Yeah.
Andrew was talking about that. They're trying to do stuff around their holiday there.
Yeah, he always has some really good insight, though. I really enjoy the professors.
Yes. A lot of knowledge in that man.
You met
Yeah,
him.
I mentioned that last week, and Andrew's in here. Andrew got a little tickle and said, well, I guess the professor's on a walkabout. Vacation.
Mhm.
Yeah, Greg over way he's got to talk past 2 videos he's put up that I've watched. Sounds like he's planning his next trip over here a little sooner than what he was thinking.
Awesome. Well, he was over here, what, about a year ago? Maybe a year and a half?
Yeah, last year.
Mm-hmm. He's another one, man. He's a character, man, but he has a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, he did Canada and the West Coast.
That's where he messed up, fooling with those guys. He needs to come over here.
I'm not sure, but I think he's going to do Canada, another part of Canada, and then the East Coast.
Yeah, but Canadian railroading is incredibly interesting. I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, it's beautiful.
Yeah, Dwight said, I thought Andy was very shy.
Yeah, man, I am. I'm shy. Quiet, shy, reserved. Yeah, you don't know me.
Yeah, after Andy was over at, oh, shucks.
Norm's?
Yeah, Norm's layout, I heard he slept in the next day.
Norm out.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. He's a nice guy. I like Norm. I wish I felt better when I was down there. I really, I was I wasn't feeling great, but I'm getting better.
Yeah, you were kind of pushing on it.
I was. I really pushed the entire thing up and before having surgery a lot further than I should have. I let it get awful mad. That was stupid. Who wants to have surgery? Takes away from railroading time.
Well, I've asked everybody else what they're doing. I've been kind of messing around here in the basement. I wanted to move my workbench.
How far along are you?
Well, I got the walls covered, got them up and painted. Got to do a little bit of wiring, change a few lights around.
What kind of lighting are you putting over your workbench?
Fluorescent.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is over in the mechanical area. So when they built the house, they put in, it's an unfinished basement, so they just stuck those ceramic single light bulb fixtures up there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I want to take that fixture out, and I'll run a hot wire from it over up under the stairwell and put that fixture up under there with another fluorescent light. And then I'll probably wire in a 2x2 fluorescent light there just to light up that whole room better. And
Can't have enough light.
then I'll have a 4-foot light hanging over the workbench like I got now. And I've got some clamp-on lights I usually add into it when I do a video on each side, just to take out all the shadows and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's another thing I'm doing. I'm going to start installing my LED strips
Mm-hmm.
so I can have daylight, nighttime.
Man, that is so much work, but it's awesome.
Oh, you're going to be another Troy, huh?
I was going to say, you need to jump in here when Troy's in here and talk to him about his LEDs, because he's doing the same thing.
And he's had a lot of challenges, and he's figured them all out pretty much. So he's a real good guy to talk about. I'm doing new LED strips as well, and I am living vicariously through him right now and learning, from all his mistakes and letting him spend the money to learn it.
Well, let's see if I can get this boy to answer the telephone. Send him an invite again. Although I think he said he's going to be spending a little more time with his girlfriend or wife this week.
Oh gosh, come on! Don't let that step on railroad time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, keep her happy.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. She don't restrict him a whole lot, yes, but
No, not too bad. No, she's pretty supportive. Thank God mine is.
Yeah,
Or
just don't get her zapped, Andy.
you just hand her the grass applicator again.
Yeah, that'll teach her a lesson. Yeah, say something about my railroad.
Oh, we got those in at work too now, so that's gonna be the next thing I gotta build. Got the electric fly swatter zapper.
It's got a little bite to it. I mean, ask my wife. It does. I've got a little bit. I'm just grateful she did.
Well, I don't want to try and zap myself with it.
Curtis, this is Sherry. And what's your YouTube channel, Sherry?
It's under me, actually.
YouTube. Oh, jeez. I started to say YouTube Sherry. Sherry Fisher.
Yeah, I kept it all simple. Kind of like my videos, no fancy stuff, no crazy stuff. I'm just kind of like, put it out there.
Hey, that's fine. It works.
Yeah.
I mean, that video you made on the mountain, that was a good video.
Speaking of the fly swatter grass applicator, there was a individual like a year ago that was supposed to show me how to make one of those. And I have it. I have the strainer.
I'll help you. It ain't hard. I'll
Yeah, I need somebody to show me what the heck to do with it so I can make one.
Who did the 2-part video?
So,
Luke Town did a
I
good
just think
video.
Luke Fallon, didn't he? Yeah, I think it was him that's got him on YouTube.
well,
Yeah, Luke Town built his own.
yeah, his is a lot better, and it's awesome. But all I did is use a $3 fly swatter, and I want to build one Luke Town style also for the taller grass. But the little $3 fly swatter will do really well for 3, 4, 5 maybe millimeter grass. Taller grass doesn't work through it.
And that may be my issue, right, because of the O scale?
Yeah.
That's what I was afraid of. Unless I keep it shorter. Nothing on mine's scale anyway, so.
Yeah, Sherry.
Yeah.
I looked online, And what it is you're looking for a, oh shucks, I just forgot the name of it. What is that called, Andy? The generator?
An ion generator.
Yeah, ion generator.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that's for
found,
the taller stuff like Luke Talon did. That's
yeah, well, I found one on the internet. Uh, 40,000 volts
right.
for
I don't
about,
need a cattle prod.
My wife would never let me order that now.
yeah, it wasn't but about $20, I think it was. Can't remember what shipping was, but
Oh, you know what? I bet who it was is one of the model railroaders that hasn't been on YouTube in a couple years. But he went under the, I think it's Big E 61. He's the one that put it together with the cheap $6 one.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos.
yeah, they are there.
Yeah, they're out there. They're on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
But I liked his because he did it really easy. He took it apart, show you what to do with 2 wires, cheap strainer, and
Train Masters had one. Oh, no, Ken Patterson did a video on using one and doing it also. And his video wasn't bad, and it was using one of the little Harbor Freight. You know, does the job.
Yeah, Phil, check out the Big E 61 Sherry. Yeah.
Looking now. Give me one sec, because I still use his videos because he's got a lot of cool landscaping how-tos on his too.
Yeah, what happened?
He's the one that actually painted the styrofoam with latex paint after he carved it. Beautiful work.
What happened to him, though? He's not been posting in a while.
I don't know. Well, after the show, why don't you give him a call? See how he's doing.
Get right on that.
Yeah, right there at midnight.
Uh-huh.
Seemed like a nice fellow, but I think he'd be like Jim. He'd come knock on your front door.
Yeah, well, I think he got burned out or something because he had posted almost a year ago probably that he was just taking some time off, and I haven't seen him back on since. So hopefully he's okay because he had a cool layout.
Yep. And boy, yeah, and just like Jimmy is as nice a guy as you would ever. I just wouldn't want to be on him. I wouldn't want him knocking on my door and me being on his bad side.
There you go, Phil.
He's got a lot of cool because like his river work, how he went in and did the river and placed the twigs and the branches and different rocks and ballast, and I mean he very good detail work, kind of like Andy. Got to get all the little stuff.
Yeah, man. It's important stuff.
Now, you brush painting that mall there, Hawks, or?
Yeah. Even though
what are you doing? I just see a shadow. Trying to figure it out.
yeah, I'm doing everything by brush. Last week I received my air compressor with my airbrush, and I have no clue on how to get it going, so I'm just waiting for the right time to do it.
What kind of airbrush did you get? Because I'm looking to buy one myself. And
what did I get? Oh, very good question.
Badger? Pache?
I've been looking at an Iwata myself. Not the expensive Iwata, but the $50 one.
Oh, it wasn't expensive. I think it came out to some like $35-40.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking too. The Iwata is 50.
Yeah, it'll be Iwata or a Badger.
Mm-hmm.
Was airbrush compressor combination?
No, it was just the airbrush and the tubing, and I also got the little that little container for the water, because the compressor that I have, I got it by itself, and it didn't have any, and I just want to make sure that there was no water that would go into the paint.
Oh,
Oh, water trap.
Yeah,
Water trap, yeah, that's it.
Well, you
Yeah.
got a couple guys here with airbrushes. You'll have to catch one of the group chats. They could probably walk you through it.
And Jimmy has figured all that out just recently as well, and has been successfully doing that as well. And he bought the water trap, the water condenser, and
Yeah, pretty much anytime you have an air compressor, you want to put a water trap on them.
Hmm.
You know, because they always build up condensation inside them.
I just bought mine off Amazon for like $10, $15, something like that, and it just screwed onto the front of the air compressor that I have for my airbrush. And my air compressor for my is a, it's this big. It's just a tiny little thing.
yeah. I've been thinking about buying
I
one.
mean,
I have a big air compressor, but it's big and loud.
yeah, you don't need one. This little one's more than enough. I mean, it'll kick out over 40 psi, which is way more than you need for airbrushing.
Yeah, because once you hit 50, you're going to blow your airbrush up.
Yeah.
You'll blow the seals right out of it.
Yeah, I do most of my airbrushing between 15 and 20 at the most.
Ah, Mr. Lynn, how you doing tonight? What is the best way to power a large reversing loop using a DCC specialist auto reverser?
Yeah, or
Large
Ted Valley.
being about 21, 24 feet. Normally this AR uses 2 wires from the main bus wires through the AR and 2 wires to the reverse loop. Yeah, I ain't got that far yet, so.
Well, I don't know as much about DCC specialties. I like Tam Valley's pretty well, but they basically work the same way, so
Yeah.
they all kind of do the same job, and you just want the reversing loop to be as long as your longest train if you have metal wheel sets, otherwise you'll get some flicker, I guess, best way to describe it.
Yeah, on the lights and all.
Well, what you get is it'll kick in and out of reversing, and that would cause it to,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it would cause your train to jitter a lot because it would be trying to reverse and unreverse and reverse and unreverse. But they're pretty straightforward to wire up. I mean, you got a main feed in and a main line and and the loop.
Yeah, this thing's pretty large. It's 21, 24 feet. So I'm assuming the 2 wires coming out going to the reverser. If you needed to, Lynn, you could probably add some more feeders and just run them back to those same 2 wires on the reverser.
Yeah, you'll want more feeders in your loop than just one. I mean, that's not enough.
Yeah, especially 21, 24 feet.
Yeah.
That way you know the reverser's reading it right.
Yep. And you need enough voltage on it for good continuity, so. And I'm a fan of more feeders. I put a lot of feeders on my layout. I don't trust, and I would never solder a round joiner. I don't use round joiners anyway, but I would never solder a round joiner if I did, so. I have.
Yeah. You're already in California now, aren't you, Lynn? I know he's leaving pretty soon for California.
Smart man. Wonderful out there. Weather and all of us freezing our patooties off. California's.
Yeah, we've been up in the 70s. Today's gotten back up low 70s. We're supposed to be creeping up a little bit more every day this week.
Oh yeah, it's been nice up here for us too. But
Had rain today, and that's been it. The latest weather I looked at, we're supposed to get rain back on Sunday. Which,
And we had a good storm today. I was out driving around in it, but
yeah,
Yeah.
ours is pretty light. It doesn't know if it washed pollen out.
Gee, we had snow.
Yeah.
You guys
We
shut up.
Okay.
It started snowing here yesterday afternoon. We got about 8 inches overnight. And then it started to rain, freezing rain, and then it went back to rain.
man,
And that 8 inches is probably about 2 inches now. And it was heart attack snow. Just a big slush ball to get off the driveway today, you know.
Huh.
But we had to drive across the state to take the stepdaughter to her dad's. And we usually don't go until, you know, like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they canceled school today. So about 2 o'clock this afternoon, I told the wife, hey, let's drive over there during the daylight and drive back, you know.
Yeah.
So the roads were just sloppy and real wet, and it rained the whole way. And now tonight we're supposed to get some more snow.
it's worse fast after the sun goes down.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. We were back in town and just about home by the time it finally got dark out. But we reached that time of the year where God put her there and He can take her away, you know.
So what do you think about that laser kit you're working on, Andy?
I love them, man. I love all of these kits. But this thing's beautiful. Put all the little cross members underneath it right now. But,
Hang on.
oh, sorry.
All right, now do it again.
Yeah, this is putting the cross members underneath it right now. And
Yeah.
just a few minutes of work, you know. I mean, they're beautiful. I mean,
Now, what glue are you using to put that together?
a medium CA so that it soaks into the thing. But that little thing right there is the trick, man. That's, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, you can kind of bend them and feed them in place. I've got, you know, a good set of metal KD trucks for it. I got to get new wheels, but, you know, these kits don't come with couplers, coupler pockets, trucks, not nothing. I got to leave the roof off because I'm putting some interior components in it. A stove, some chairs, interior lighting, and I'm going to put the lanterns, the fiber optic lanterns or LED lanterns on the end.
Yeah.
And light those, and I'm going to put a decoder in it. So I got to leave the roof off and do a bunch of wiring and put contacts on the trucks and all that
Yeah.
jazz.
Hey, Lee, how you doing? Lee said, hey, guys, long time no see.
Hey.
So, since that's wood, you wouldn't use any kind of white glue like the Fowler Expert glue?
It's just too slow.
Okay.
I have used on some of the kits, you know, some of the like Eileen's tacking glue and some of those because they're thick and they let you hold some of the pieces, but they're just so slow. I suppose I'm just impatient, but when you're trying to hold these little small pieces in place, then, you know, it's just...
Yeah. I think I got this right. Andy, you'll have to correct me. All right, Lynn's got up here. So you're saying 2 wires out of the AR to a terminal block, then use several wires from the terminal block for feeders. Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I like that idea. Or take those 2 wires and run them along underneath your reversing loop as a bus, because that's what I do. I don't use terminals. I use buses, and ever 3 feet, I pop off that muss and up to the rails. But a terminal block's not a bad idea. I mean, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, that way you don't have to sit there and strip off a little bit of insulation and mess around with that. Terminal blocks will give you a good connection too.
Yeah, I just don't like screws, and I absolutely despise suitcase connectors. I solder all of my connections.
Well, a little easier for you since you can pull it out, put it on the workbench. You know, for most of us, we have to crawl up under there. So soldering is not something you really want to do and have that dripping off on you.
No, no, no. Solder on the forehead is horrible.
Yeah. That's the reason why terminal blocks are a lot more safer and painless.
And I don't necessarily have anything wrong with a terminal block. It makes a good physical and electrical connection. I despise suitcase connectors.
Yeah.
They just do everything that they teach you in electrical school you do not want to do, and that's degrade the physical structure of the wire. I mean, you take a wire, 14 gauge, 18 gauge, and you mite through it with a suitcase connector. You're turning that 18 gauge wire into a 26 or something, because you just don't have the through wire. And I don't like damaging the, if I put a 14 gauge or an 18 gauge bus in, I want to keep 18 gauge. I don't want to cut it.
Hopefully I'll help you out, Lynn. Anybody in the Q&A, if you got questions, post them on up here. Be glad to try and answer them.
Sure. Maybe even try to confuse you a little more if we can. So you started making trees yet, Sherry, for that mountain?
No. Oh, I did hear back from Loctite, Andy. They said, according to them, they do not make an accelerator for the Loctite glues.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. I love the Loctite glue, but the lack of accelerator.
Well, yeah. So, and the one I got don't work on the ones I have. So I have to maybe try a different.
Yep, I have that same one. I use that too, but it only works so far on
glues.
Yep, on this APS glue.
Yeah.
Which is a good glue. I like it. It's just not as readily available and easy to get. But one of the things that I love about the Loctite glue is, like, this particular one is extra time control. So this is very slow to set. Super glue, it's really easy to work with for certain building kits where you have a hard time getting alignment. I don't need an accelerator for that, so it doesn't hurt my feelings. But building trees, you gotta have accelerator.
Yeah, and it's just something to do because we're working with natural materials. But yeah, I got that one. I got the blue gel version. I've got the red version of that.
What's the red?
The red is the ultra liquid control super glue.
Oh, because I mean I've got blue.
The blue is the gel, which I figured, well, I wanted a little bit of longer setup time because of the trees, but it.
Black.
Yep. Yeah, and it takes. I mean, when it takes over a minute for super glue to set up, I knew it wasn't gonna work.
Not for tree making. Yep. For building, sometimes that's desirable.
Yeah, no, I've used it on other things here, so I mean, I'll have a use for the glue, but I would really like to get going on my trees, and I'm like, I didn't think the super glue was going to be the problem.
Yeah.
But no, I was impressed with Loctite because they got back with me by the next morning after we were talking about it, and I shot them an email, so shout out to the company that they did respond and responded in a timely manner.
Mm-hmm. And I like their product.
Hmm?
And it's affordable and readily available. And
No.
Well, we got the Redneck Railroader here. Says, hey guys, did I hear Andy right? Probably not.
Probably not. I'm hard to hear right now.
You need drops every 3 feet. It's recommended when you're running DCC to have your drops every 3 feet just to maintain a good signal quality.
I would put a drop. I don't worry about distance. I would put a drop, and I do put a drop on every rail, and I don't solder rail joiners. There's other people who do solder rail joiners, and they put a drop every, 7, 8, 9 feet, and they're fine. That's okay if you solder rail joiners, and I used to, but I've had some bad effects from soldering rail joiners. Things need to move around a little bit. So I favor not soldering rail joiners. I hate the way that looks anyway. It's hard to paint the rail and make it look good. It's just easy to just put a feeder on every rail, and you'll never have a problem.
And Lee's got here, Andy, better be prepared because getting back on the saddle of hand laying track.
Yeah, man, me too. Yep, I am. I've done some a few weeks ago. Finished a section of 4 tracks of a yard and got back into it. I'm going to finish these few modules right here. Actually, I'm gonna start building some turnouts in the next few weeks.
Did you get stuff for that or what?
I ordered some of it, but I don't remember exactly all what I ordered, so I may not get
Andy's having Christmas in March.
It's wonderful, man. It's been really exciting, I'll tell you, but I'm not sure it was the most effective, but I had a good time.
Apparently.
What painkiller did they put you on, Andy?
Loratab, I think, is what they gave me, and I can't say that it necessarily helps enough, and it kind of makes me nauseous, so it's not really that helpful. Actually, it was getting over the anesthesia was the hardest thing. I mean, seriously, it was like 3 days of amnesia.
Okay.
I was awake. I remember parts of it. There's just a lot of it I don't remember.
Dwight says every section of track feeders.
Yep. You will never have a problem. Railroad will last you a lifetime. Don't solder rail joiners. Put a feeder on every rail. Trouble. I get it, but you'll never have a problem out of the layout. And there's nothing worse than being frustrated by the trains. And if you'll put a feeder on every rail, it will run for decades.
Yeah, I found that working out there at the store, yeah, we soldered the joints on the curves. Because we use a flex track, and if you don't, those joints are going to kink on you.
They can. I offset my rail joints as well. And even when I use flex track, I use spikes around the rail joints to kind of keep everything in alignment. I spike them down with microengineering spikes. The ones I wouldn't use on my visible layout, the really large ones, but that helps make sure the rails stay in alignment. And like when I build my helix, I will be spiking at the rail joints. And I may solder the joints in the helix. I might.
Yeah, the Redneck Railroaders got on here. Oh, man, I got more work to do. My layout's not big, but still having problems. That would explain it.
Yep.
And Andy, if you want to just give a short description of what you had done for Curtis.
Oh, I had my sinus. I had some kind of infection, a mold or a fungal infection I got somewhere, probably staying in a hotel, I think. And then and it done a bunch of damage before they figured out what it did. So they had to go scrape my sinuses and remove a bunch of tissue.
Another question for you, Andy. Troy had said something about he uses the Easy Bond accelerator. Have you tried that with the Loctite yet?
No, I haven't.
He said he uses. That's what he uses. And he said he doesn't seem to. It does seem to work.
Where's it come from? Where do you get it?
Model train stuff.
Oh, well, I'll order some. I mean, I'd gladly try anything because, I mean, this is $5 a model glue, and this is $2 a model at Walmart. So,
Yeah.
And when you're building trees,
You need a lot. You need a lot. I know.
a
I
lot.
just didn't know maybe if you had some floating around because you seem to have a little bit of everything floating around. So.
Well, I experiment and buy a lot of various things to try things out. And I've said, and this is starting to shift in the other direction, but for a while, I've spent more money on tools and glue and paint, getting back into the hobby again after several years. It's taken me a lot of money, and the most money that I've spent has been in tools and paint and glue, you know, kind of getting a workbench restocked. You know, now it's starting to shift toward equipment and rolling stock and actually modeling stuff. But it took a long time to get built back up with tools.
I got a question for you, Andy.
Yes, sir.
Your trees, have you ever done any trees without any leaves on it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have a couple in the background.
You're a pretty one out, Andy.
Well, I have a few.
Now get your tumbleweed tree.
Pretty one out that we all want.
All right. So I haven't flocked all of my trees. So some of these, I'll tell you, if I learned this method of doing trees first, before I had built so many of the others, I would have very likely modeled late winter. So that is, hang on, let me help you out.
Oh, yeah, I still let you present it. You
But-
see that, Hawks?
Are those leaves or they're just dead branches? Not dead branches, but like late autumn trees, right?
Right, that's just the armature. Let me all right, let me grab some. Let's look at some trees. So that's just armature that hasn't been flocked yet. Here's one small tree that has been flocked. This is not a very full one, this is a relatively small tree, but that one's been flocked
Okay.
with leaf flake. And let's see. Here's one I'm really fond of anyway. Again, this one's not been flocked yet with leaf, but you know that's what they look like prior to being flocked. And then I got one back here. You know, here's another one that's been flocked already.
Okay, it's been flocked, right?
Uh-huh. Yep, that one has, you know, green leaf on it. So, and then let me get one more that, let's see. Here's one more example. The tree, that one has been flocked with green leaf and a lighter color. And these are the smaller leaves, the smaller leaf flake that I use on the trees that are on the other side of the tracks, for example. They're, say, 8 or 10 inches back on the layout. On the very foreground of the layout, I use a larger leaf flake like that really light yellow one I showed you to begin with. It has a larger, the leaf material is of a larger texture.
All right, Andy, got a couple questions here for you. Are you using Homicide on your track work?
I am. I looked for. So I designed on my railroad for a bunch of years, and come up with a fairly unique way of building it entirely out of styrofoam. There's no wooden substructure. The substructure is all styrofoam. The roadbed is Homicide, and I looked and experimented and bought several things for years, trying to find an alternative to Homicide, and I hadn't found one. And for the longest time, I thought I was going to need to spike my track more, but I've ended up using contact cement for adhering rails. Had I realized that contact cement was going to work so well for me, I think I would have used only foam core for my roadbed. But as it is, my roadbed is foam core glued to the bottom of Homicide to kind of make a smooth bottom, and it has weather stripping on the bottom of the foam core, so when it sets on top of the styrofoam, it does not conduct sound down into the styrofoam, which becomes a big resonance cavity. I also have a little trench cut out underneath my roadbed for all my electronics, and I hope to put speakers under the track eventually for track noise, and brake squeal and stuff. But it becomes a big sound cavity, so I use weather stripping on the bottom of that, and it's dead quiet.
Also, Lee said those trees looked real good. And he also has here, you need to do a how-to on the trees.
I realize, and I've been
all of us have been on to Andy about doing a how-to on that.
Yep.
Let's see, got another short one here before I get to Bill's question. It is coming, Bill's big Bill. Andy, are those from sagebrush?
Yeah. Now I have a lot of super trees, and a lot of trees. I have quite a few trees made out of super tree adhered to sticks, basically, that had a really good bark structure. But all my foreground and the ones I just showed you are all sagebrush with super tree material glued to them, and I found nothing that gets anywhere close to that.
Yeah, because Hawks was, I think, trying to ask that same question, was just exactly how you built the tree up, but that was super tree material on the sage. Big Bill's got one here for you. In your tool collection, what is the most cherished tool you have, and which is the most expensive tool you have?
Well, that's a good question. I enjoy that one. Huh. I don't know. Cherished is a really hard thing to say. I got a few that I like. I'm really fond of these things. I know that's kind of not real impressive, but
Self-closing tweezers.
yeah, man, for making these trees, I really like these. And for laying tracks.
I've got a couple of those. I like the wood handles on them too. It makes it easier to hang on to.
Absolutely, and hemostats. I hand lay track with hemostats. That's how I spike rail, is with hemostats. I never have to have needle nose pliers and the spikes go flying off somewhere else to find with a bare foot. I really like spiking with hemostats. Most expensive, I don't know. A Dremel, maybe? I really like my Dremel, so.
Yeah, by the way, Big Bill Dwight said hello if I deleted the comment a little too quick before you saw it. He'll be back in the recorded show. Lee's got here, do you know where to go to get Homicide, Andy?
Well, I bought it from Menards. It was the only place that had it. Hopefully they keep having it, but I bought a sheet when I first started on the first section. And about a year later, I went back and bought another sheet, and I'm pretty sure that I bought the next sheet down a year later. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody else is buying it.
I think
Yeah.
it all depends on where you're at in the country too,
Yeah,
if it's
'cause
available or not.
yeah, down here in Georgia, I haven't seen any homes sold for quite a while.
It's getting to be
A
hard
little
to
over a
find.
year.
Yep, it's getting to be hard to find, and that's going to be a
Yeah.
problem.
Pink foam's getting hard to find too.
And my layout's entirely foam.
Yeah,
Entirely.
'cause they're going to that newer foam now that has a plastic coating on each side of it. So to be able to use that foam, you have to peel the plastic sheeting off. And I've only seen that. I think in the thickest was 1 inch or maybe an inch and a half. I mean, you don't even hardly see 2 inch foam anymore.
Well, up here where I am, I can get 4 inch, 2 inch, 1.5, 1, 3/4, half, and I have all of that. I have every one of those sizes. Here I have a few sheets of each laid up against the wall in the other room, except for the 4 inch. I never bought any of it.
Yeah, he said he can't get it, but he needs it.
Yeah,
Curtis said you can't get it in Florida either.
Yep, and I am still looking at alternatives, and there are some alternatives if you do not have to spike into it. And like I said, I'm using contact cement for hand laying, so I could do without the home stone. I really could. I could build my road bed entirely out of foam core, and I would. I'd build it in 3 or 4 layers of foam core.
Yeah, Lee. I think that's everywhere, Lee. Lee said where I live, everything causes cancer. But yeah, I've got a little quandary over in yeah, Lee lives in California. Uh, on John's layout, the special needs fellow I help.
Mm-hmm.
We got one table there that we turned into a farm scene that has a great big loop with an S curve so you get back on the bridge. And we got all that ballast and glued down. And I was over here a couple weeks ago, and he's running his Atlas, I think it was, diesel, and it's noisy anyway. But once it went around the layout, got over to the farm area where the track is ballasted, man, did it get louder.
Yeah, they have really deep flanges on them, so it's hitting ballast in the track, cleaning out of under the railheads. I ballast my track much more lightly than most people do.
Yeah.
On my prototype, the ballast was slightly below the tops of the ties. Now, on some of the sidings, there's ballast over the ties, but for the main line, it's lower than that. And on my prototype, it seemed to always be.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I'm not going to worry with it because John's going to be getting a new track plan anyway.
Yep, I heard about that. That sounds good. Are you getting Bill to do it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I still got to get that paperwork filled out and get the drawing done and get it scanned and send it to him.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try and get all that done this weekend.
Did
But,
oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Did Bill mention anything about doing a show on operations lately?
Yeah, got one coming up.
Because I spoke to him probably last week that if he ever wanted to do a detail operation, it was to use my layout that he did and go through all the industries and how he would operate every single industry. Now he said it might have to take like 2 shows to do that, but that would help me in operations because I have no clue.
That'd be very interesting to do. He had already done that on one small layout showing a logging layout, how to operate that. And
Yeah, yeah,
people loved that, and it was interesting.
yeah.
Send me an email. Send me an email and ask him about it.
No, he said he was going to talk to someone about doing shows. I think it would only be like probably late April or May, because I think a lot of the shows were already worked on or something like that.
Yeah, they're all playing for Bill
Yeah.
and Miles, because Miles' show's coming up in April.
Yeah,
Bill did a show this month. So
'cause
next month it's going to be Miles.
because I've got about I think it's about 15 industries on my layout, and one of the questions I had was, when you have the turnout that's going, let's say, to your left, if you're coming from the right, then you back up. That's no problem. But what about if you're moving forward? How do you drop off the cars, or do you have to go the other way around?
Facing point turnout versus trailing point turnouts, and yeah, there's a certain amount of operation to be able to do those correctly.
Yeah, Big Bill just made a comment that, we could arrange that, and I will be in touch with him and bring it up to him. So Big Bill will be talking to Bill.
Hey, you can
Okay.
just hit me, by the way, Johnny. People are probably tired of looking at me.
Oh, yeah. I've been watching the Q&A too much. Let's see. Curtis said that down here in Florida, 1/2-inch foam board is all we can get. Lee, Andy, is that lid stuck in the bucket behind you? LOL.
What is it?
Lid. There's a bucket behind you with a lid stuck in it.
Yeah, my scenery.
Is that lid stuck in there?
Nah.
Okay.
Just my scenery goop bucket. I haven't made any lately.
You're slacking, Andy.
I know, and this room is a mess. Actually, this was our, when I kind of took over it, it became the collection spot for everything, and so my goal was just before surgery was to get it completely cleaned out. So all it was my railroad stuff, but I didn't get there. So in the next few weeks, I'm going to target that, and this has got to stop being the wife's storage room and be just my railroad room.
She's getting back at you.
Well, I mean, we've made peace with the fact that I took over the master bedroom.
Are you sure this is her storage room?
I know. I mean, I'm a lucky man that I didn't die for such treachery anyway. But
yeah. Big Bill said, "Never get tired of looking at you, Andy."
well, I appreciate the sentiment, but I can't see how that would be true. But I had some trees sitting here. I realize those are interesting, but
Don't worry, Andy. I got an exercise equipment sitting by my layout too. It never gets used, and you can't get to.
yeah, but you'll never use it. But now try to convince the wife you need to get rid of it. She said, "No, I'm gonna start using it. That's my New Year's resolution." Blah blah blah.
Yeah. She bought it for herself last year with her tax refund.
Yep, everybody buys them.
Yep, you buy it and uses it for a month,
Yeah.
Yeah, Lee said, Andy, don't lie. You rather maul railroad than clean.
Absolutely. That's exactly why I hadn't got around to it. Anytime I have any time and I'm home and not at work, then yeah, I'd much rather be sitting right here. It's your all's fault because I'm sitting here talking to y'all instead of.
Yeah, I'll probably wind up doing my videos like Dave Vallejo did on his. Use his webcam to make the video, and you can hear people in the Hangouts talking too.
Yeah, he's
in the
done that
background.
sometimes, and we're in the Hangout thinking, he's just run off and doing that video, isn't he? Yeah. back and listen to it later, and it's us talking over there like, he just run off and do that video, didn't he? And that's in his video, yeah.
Big Bill, here's a question to the panel. What is the one thing that you have gotten out working on your layout, your buildings, and things that make you want to head to the workbench?
Hang on, ask that one more time.
Yeah. What is the one thing that you have gotten out of working on your layout, your buildings, and things that make you want to head to the workbench? Is it your buildings that make you want to head to the workbench, or, you know?
Well,
For me,
right
yes.
now my workbench is just totally covered from one end to the other of everything that was laying haphazardly on the layout because I just got done painting the backdrops. So now I have to put a bunch of stuff away to get to the workbench to be able to work on it, and there is actually some white metal detail parts under everything laying on my workbench that goes to one of my buildings. So that's what's on my workbench.
Me, it's also the buildings. I love doing buildings. I've got all those feeders to finish, but I prefer working on buildings.
Yeah.
I've learned to, I'll tell you, on my previous layouts. I love track work, I always have. Bench work, track work, and getting trains running was always so important to me. This time around, I said I'm going to do it differently, and I'm going to focus on scenery and wood structures and all that, to the point that I should have been a lot further along on my layout and track work and all that stuff. Things I thought I would have no problem progressing on, all because I would rather spend my time sitting here melting trees and buildings.
Sherry, your turn.
That's the funny part. My layout is my workbench right now. I've got my trees on one side of my table and the mountains and all the rocks I've been pouring on the other side. So I got it all right here.
Yeah, me, I'm in the process of moving my workbench to a better work area anyway, so.
Well, and that's
Still
what
be
I'm looking
involved.
at. I think I'm going to clean out one room and get it set up there, because where it's sitting now, it really isn't doing me any good. So.
Yeah.
You need a good spot to work, you really do. And as my layout builds over the coming years, I might have to find a spot for my workbench. It's not right here, but you need a good workbench spot.
Oh yeah, because fortunately my table's pretty empty right now, so I got a lot of, which is bad, because I got a lot of space to set stuff.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
All right, we got a question here from down under from our big buddy Ron. Andy,
Sure.
it's a lot cleaner than my train room. I can't even see my track under the buildings and mess.
Well, I'll tell you one benefit to building your layout at eye level. It can't be a workbench. So my layout cannot be a collection spot for much of anything. I have a few of my trays of trees sitting up there. At the height it is, can't work up there. I mean, I have to stand on a ladder to work on it. So.
And Dwight has got here, and then you go to Wally World or other stores, I guess, and it all gets put back on the bench, messing a clean bench up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And Big Bill has got up here. I guess the question should have read, does it bring you peace to work on your hobby? And if so, do you work out your problems while you work on the hobby?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The whole reason I decided I needed a hobby is because all I was doing was working all the time. And decided I needed a hobby and thought about it for a while and said, you know, I'm going to get into trains again. And it brings me a tremendous amount of peace and joy. Really, really does. And the satisfaction of building something. I love my company. I love my job. But I don't get to make anything.
Dwight's got here too. Listening to talk radio, NPR or YTMB or music while modeling in the man cave?
I do a lot of podcasts too.
Yeah.
I like my oldies.
I would say at peace. The hobby just kind of gives me something to do.
A lot of value in
And,
that.
well, it's just right. I mean, after going through all the health problems and, used to working 40 plus hours a week and now being forced to be retired, gives me something to do rather than sit and watch the news all day long. Now it's just kind of on in the background, and and like I said, being in the health situation I was in, just being here is at peace. So the hobby really doesn't take much stress away from me because I really don't have much stress anymore.
My work is reasonably high stress, at least a lot sometimes, and this week has been pretty high stress level. But I can come home after a stressful day, 20, 30 minutes, and I forgot all about what's going on, and I'm just kind of in the zone of whatever I'm doing, and it's as simple as build a little potbelly stove for my signal tower, and as useless in the world and as irrelevant as that is to probably anybody else I know outside of the hobby, it really lowers my blood pressure, and it gives me an escape.
Oh, I feel the same way too. It's about 15 minutes in the hobby. I completely forget about any problems at all,
Absolutely.
except the problems of the hobby.
Yeah. And nothing else does that for me but sitting down here at the workbench. I couldn't come home and turn a movie on and do it for me. I'll be thinking about work, and Angie will be saying, "Did you hear what they said?" Or she'll be laughing about that or something. I'm like, I wasn't even listening to it. I was still thinking about whatever it was work related. But I can get sitting here and I'm not thinking about anything about work.
Yeah, Big Bill's got Pandora Radio his own, and Frank Sinatra and Count Basie plays in the layout.
I
Come
could
fly with me.
fly with me.
Okay. Let's see what Jason's got here. Well, I do anything from listening to the TV, music, and YouTube video. Yeah, he does anything from listening to TV, music, and YouTube videos. So,
I like the challenge, to be able to take something that's nothing and make it into something that looks so
Believable.
lifelike. Yeah, believable, lifelike, and
has function.
right, has function, and there's no greater satisfaction than doing that and then sharing it with fellow people that are in the hobby and them saying, "Oh, that looks really good."
Yep.
And it's like, are you sure you're really legally blind, man? Because that looks too good to have for somebody that can't see worth a damn.
I know you can argue that you're legally blind, but the building you got took a position in the model
Right.
competition. You're an exceptional modeler.
It just took 3 months to do it. That's all.
Yeah, well,
There's no hurry.
Hobby is fast.
Right. There you go.
Hey, I don't think there was ever a,
No, they gave us several months, so it was a good thing,
yeah. Big Bill has here, what is the most challenging part of the hobby for you? And Dwight commented, wiring drives him nuts. I thought he was already nuts, but
But he's telling you wiring's what drove him nuts. So
Yeah.
wiring drives a lot of people nuts.
Personally, anything that's electronics drives me nuts. But it's a huge challenge. I've been searching for searchlights, and they're hard to find. There's what is it? Tombar.
Tomar.
Tomar, and there's BLMA.
Yeah, their MLMA are really nice. Expensive, but they're really nice.
Yeah, but yeah, so I decided that I might try and give myself a try and make my own.
There is an instruction for how to make searchlights. Okay, there's a couple. There's a couple guys wrote some instructions in the latest eMag, but there's also on the NMRA website there is some instruction on hand laying track and a few others, but there's a really nice how-to. It's old, but it's still very good on how to build, how to make your own searchlight signals.
I'll have to check it out then.
Yep.
Big Bill has up here, Phil has read my mind. My mind is limited, so that was easy for him to do. And Dwight put up a whole bunch of smiley faces to the comment about him already being nuts.
I see.
But well, I guess we'll have to wait till next Thursday to see the conclusion of the sand and gravel company.
There's a good chance. I'm almost finished painting. Now I just have to assemble the rest and then do the weathering and stuff. And maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I've worked on buildings for months and months and months. Well, which Philip just said, it took him a few months on that when he worked on it.
Well, I'm planning to work on a huge building. That's why I contacted Bill, is where the helix is going to be. There's like a triangle of about 11 feet by 8 feet, which is basically bare, which is the top of the helix. And I asked Bill if I could put something there on top. Like, I would like to build a huge building. And I finally found what I was going to do, and it's to build a brewery. And my brewery would be about, I'd say about 8 feet by 6 feet.
Sounds like he's taking notes for Miles. Miles has got a huge building on his layout.
Oh, all of his buildings are pretty doggone huge. Because of what Scotland. But
it's height, it's big buildings.
Yep, but in actual floor space, 8 by 11 feet is a heck of an industry, and I am such a believer that we have taken selective compression too far in this hobby. And we build things too small. That's why I build my trees, 12 feet tall, I want them to look like 100-foot trees.
Well, what gave me the idea was I saw a picture of this guy that did a removable building that was on, I think it was a 4x4, and there was a track that would go around, and maybe 2-3 tracks that would go inside the building. So that gave me the idea of building something big, not in height necessarily, but
in length.
In length and width. So that's why I came up with the brewery, because the brewery has so much ins and outs.
Well, and it's a very good industry to model because of the various types of cars that come. I mean, tank cars and flat cars of equipment and box cars of supplies and box cars of product going away. A lot of cars are coming and going of different types, so it adds a lot of interest to the whole layout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lee, Yeah, we'll send you an invite to the after show. So Andy, Phil, somebody, I wrote his name down so we could try and send him an invite. Big Bill has something for you, Hawks, and sand and gravel. I have the South Brooklyn Sand and Gravel Company. Perhaps we could trade some 2-bay covered hoppers with our logo on it. Let me know if you want to do it.
What does he mean by with our logo? You mean?
Yeah, he's South Brooklyn
Oh,
Railroad.
okay.
It's kind of like exchange of calling cards.
Mm-hmm.
He has some really good looking decals that were made up for
Yeah.
his custom layout. His decals are exceptional.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Dwight says, you too, Grandpa, Bill. Let's see what Bill's got here now. Come on. Quit. Go away. All right, Big Bill, I have to say that you guys are the most talented and forthcoming people I have ever come across, and a pleasure to speak with.
He's going to hit us up for a donation or something, aren't you?
He's going to want you to be on another live show, Andy.
I know, man. Bill, you are a pleasure to hang out and talk to. You really are, brother. And I enjoy looking forward to your videos coming up. He knows his layouts really. Since I've been on here, he was hadn't even done bench work. I've got to watch his layout and Phil's layout, Jimmy's layout. I've got to watch Troy tear one down and build a whole new one. I mean, it's incredible to watch people get to build their layout. Watch
I've been watching Hawks, too.
Absolutely. Yep, got to watch Hawks coming together here in the last little while. I've really enjoyed the videos you've been putting up too, Hawks.
Thanks.
Yeah. Big Bill's got up here, where'd he go? Because somebody just posted 3 times on. I have cars with my own custom decals. Yeah, we just talked about that one. Yeah, big,
Right.
mail checks to William J. Graham in any amount.
Oh, you'll take a check. Okay, well, that's not a big deal then. All right, you'll take a check. I'll pay it off right now. How much was that? How much do I owe you for that Camaro?
Dwight's even laughing.
Yeah. Hey, you can't say we don't have fun here, too.
When you're as crazy as we are, it's hard to not have fun.
Well, let's see here. Where am I at?
You're in Georgia, Johnny. You're in Georgia.
Sometimes I wonder.
I wonder about you plenty too, brother.
Yeah.
Now you have to make sure to show us some of your painting, Phil. I want to see how you do your clouds.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Do a video.
I know, everybody always wants everything done in the video. And then, when it finally turns out, it's like, damn, I should have done a video on this.
I still got to do mine, so come on.
Well, it's you start working and things start flowing, and then, you're done, and then it's like.
Yeah, what I do down at the store, I walk in, I set the tripod and the camera up, I try to pick a location where I can see people, and I just turn it on and let her go. And then, I come back and download everything and start going through it, chopping it up, try to make a video.
Yeah.
That's what I've done.
The movie maker's got the time lapse where you can go in and do it from 4 times to 8 times to where you blink an eye, it's over. and it shortens it because I try not to put out, you know, especially if it's boring like the one I just did. I'm like, you don't really need 25 minutes of plastering.
No, but I mean, you know, just show your process. I mean, you showed how you were mixing it up, and how you're dipping the tiles, wringing them out. You know, that's good to show in the video at, you know, present time. But then once you've got that shown, yes, go ahead and speed it up.
Uh-huh.
You know, go to time lapse for the rest of it. Dwight, Johnny's Fun Time Radio Show is always excellent. Thank you, Dwight.
Well, it's like my that covered bridge I did. I had about 86 hours of video. I had to shrink it down to, I think it's 26 minutes.
Yeah.
86 hours. Wow. Yeah, I just
Bridge. I still like that bridge.
yeah, I done a bunch of ballasting here recently with the ballast that I make myself, and I just set my camera up on a tripod, let it record, and when my voice gets better and I can do the voiceover, I'm gonna sit down and edit it all into something seemingly cohesive.
Mr. Hawks, William Graham says Hawks got to get you on a live show. What say you to that?
Why would you want me on a live show?
Because you're interesting.
Sure, no problem.
It really doesn't hurt. It's basically like a hangout. Yeah.
Really doesn't hurt. It's not painful. No.
Is it like with JD? If you write one article, then you're stuck. You got to do more articles.
No, Bill don't do that to you. He said, "Why not?"
Yeah, JD will do it to you, but writing articles gets a little bit addictive too. It's pretty enjoyable to kind of work through that. I've wrote a couple so far, and I've enjoyed it. And if I have some more time, I'll write more. I'm not even that great at it, but I do like doing it. It's turned into something I didn't think I would enjoy in the hobby. But
I agree. Yeah, I've done 2 articles up to now.
Good ones, both of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect to enjoy it that much.
Well, we're about to hit the bewitching hour, so let me see if my screen share is going to work here.
Phil, are you gonna spin us something after?
Yeah, I'm working on it right now.
Alright, I gotta do something, then I'll be over there. So I'll catch you guys over in the after.
Yeah. It'll be on the YouTube main page posted there.
10-4. Had a good time, Johnny. Good show.
Yeah. Appreciate you being on panel, Andy.
Always.
Well,
Okay.
Big Bill. Yeah, Big Bill's got another one up here. Nah, not at all. It's fun, and we make it fun for you. And I think that listening to you can bring a lot to the show. That's for you, Mr. Hawks.
Well, thank you. Just well, Bill, just let me know when and what.
Yeah. And Dwight says thanks to me and to the panel. All righty, we've hit the bewitching hour, so I think we're going to wind this one up.
Good night.
Well, so thank you, Mr. Hawks, for being here tonight on the panel. Sherry, thank you for being here. I want to thank the people in the Q&A, Lee, Curtis, the Redneck Railroader, Dwight, yes, for coming in, and everybody else in the Q&A. It's always a pleasure having everybody in here. Get a mix of conversation going. So I want to say keep checking in on the YouTubeModelBuilders.com website for all the latest news and info on Tuesday night presentations. The format now is every other week. So next week we do have, yes, we do on the 29th, have a Tuesday night show. So you go to YouTubeModelBuilders.com, and where it says presentations, you can put your cursor there, and they'll give you a drop down, go to the schedule, see who's going to be presenting and what the subject is. The e-magazine just came out. JD and his crew has done another excellent job. This is a big magazine that's about signaling. Like I didn't count the pages, but I've heard a few people say it's about 52 pages in there. So yeah, it's another really good magazine. Everybody's been commenting on that. Live show schedules is also there at the YouTubeModelBuilders.com. Just had one last Saturday. The live show is once every month, the third Saturday. And the EMAG comes out bi-monthly, every other month. And the Tuesday presentations, like I said, is gone to an every other week presentation now. And Thursday night's general hangouts are still each week. And you can go to the website, sign up for the EMAG, so that when it does come out, you'll be notified by email. And that is PDF files, so you can download that, be able to read it on several different platforms at your leisure. And thank you again for participating in the tonight's hangout. We've had another good one, a lot of good questions asked. Had a good participation in the Q&A. And with that said, stop the presentation. That's a wrap. We're going to put this one in the can. Good night, folks. Have a good weekend.